All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is March 11th, 2022. Welcome to ASAP in the Morning. It's your boy Pride, joined by Chris. Chris, how you feeling, my guy?
I'm doing good this morning. A lot of stuff going on in the sports world. It's Friday, getting ready for the weekend. So, good day so far.
100%. It's definitely a great Friday to be able to wake up and talk all things sports.
Going to be a lot of good college basketball on this weekend. All the conference tournaments coming to a close.
Yeah, that stuff definitely going to be interesting. We got a packed show for you, ladies and gentlemen. The 76ers, who was the dream team, the best backcourt in the NBA in the history of all time, got mollywop. Does that really matter, though? We'll get into that. Khalil Mack is now going to LA, which is weird. Seems like everyone just wants to go to LA for some reason. But hey, to each their own. But before we get into anything else, ladies and gentlemen, baseball is back. It took 8,275 years. Rob Manfred was sick of the games. He then decided, he heard all the slander on Roger Goodell, how he was the worst commissioner ever. He said, hold my beer and watch this. He then proceeded to attempt to kill the good sport of baseball. Couldn't do it anymore. Agreement was reached. Basically to the point that, basically both sides truly, well, the owners more specifically, the owners really didn't have a choice. When you realize that that the players are willing to actually give up a full year, especially after, all the money the owners have been taking, they kind of were, the old, you're put in between a rock and a hard place. Chris, here's the question I pose. Is it a surprise that the owners and players were able to agree to have spring training start today?
I was really surprised. I didn't be honest with you. I didn't think there was going to be a season. I thought the players, this was the time they were finally going to hold their ground and not give in. And I was surprised the owners gave in as quick as they did. They came out yesterday and announced, it was yesterday morning they announced there was going to be another a couple more series canceled, or it might have been the day before, but it was one, and then all of a sudden, boom, we have baseball back and spring training starting, free agency. So I was surprised it happened as quick as it did. I thought they might lose the whole season, but I thought at least they were going to lose probably at least half the season, because I didn't think the owners would give in as quick as they did. And, the players got some pretty good things accomplished. They got the minimum salary raised by about $200,000. That's big for your younger players.
Massive.
It's going to do the universal DH.
Yeah, I was about to say that universal DH is...
I have mixed feelings about that.
I like it. I really do. Because I think it's a double-edged sword. And this is why I say that. I like it because... now I don't have to look at pitchers just waste their at-bat because they don't want to swing the bat. But it's also a double-edged sword because some teams don't have good bats. So you're probably going to have Albert Pujols, who I love. I love him as a player. But let's be fair, last 2 years he's been going down.
Yeah.
They're going to end up having him being able to be a DH, which, but I don't know. I think it'll do more harm, or I'm sorry, more good than it would harm.
Yeah.
But what's your skepticism on the universal DH?
I think it takes a little bit of the strategy out from the teams when you have a pitcher that's hitting, because it can affect your batting order. It can affect a lot of different things. But one point you just made up with the DH, the thing that I didn't think about is it could help prolong some guys' careers, because once they start getting older, they'll just be able to go into that DH role. And now that you're doing it in both the leagues, that's more opportunities for some players. So, I mean, that's a good thing there.
Yeah, because if you think about it, a lot of the older players who basically say, you know what, I don't want to bat anymore, or I'm sorry, I don't want to play in the field anymore. I just want to bat. Half of your options are eliminated prior to this year because the NL didn't have it. So
Yeah.
prior to this, you basically would have to go to the AL. You had no choice because they were the only ones who had it. It having universal, my thing was we need to make up our minds. Either universal DH or no DH. Like the fact that the AL had DH, but the NL had their pitchers back, it was perplexing. It was weird. And
you turn on a game and you'd have to figure out who the home team is, so you knew what rules they were playing by. And
man, it really was. It was extremely confusing. So it's like, I don't know. I will say, the players didn't get everything they wanted, but I think it's fair enough to say that they got enough where they're willing to just shrug their shoulders and say, you know what, we're good. That's what I think. I think the players, they didn't get everything, but I think they gave them just enough.
Yeah.
That they'll be all right. The season's going to start April 7th.
All 162 the whole season.
All 162 games are going to be played. Double headers are both going to be 9 innings.
How you feel about that? Did you like the 7-inning double headers?
This one I have mixed emotions. This is my version of the universal DH rule for you. Like, I like it, but my thing is, let's be honest. 9 innings double header. One of those double headers, you're resting your stars. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Most of the time.
Right. So it's like, if I'm paying to come and see, like, I'm a Red Sox fan, right? No disrespect to the guys I'm about to say. No disrespect to them. I'm not here to see Christian Vasquez. No disrespect to him whatsoever. Okay? That's not who I'm here to see. I'm here to see Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, Hunter Renfroe, he's the best player. Oh, yeah. No. So it's like, it's this weird thing where it's like, I like the idea of it, but it's kind of like in the NBA, the second part of a back-to-back. More times than not, you rest your stars on that back half of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
especially early in the season.
What players are going to do? Or I'm sorry, not the players, the teams. Is that what they're going to do? But baseball's back.
See, I was kind of torn on that as well because of, again, like strategy. If you have a dominant pitcher starting that day, you short the game to 7 innings. That can really help you because especially if you have a trash bullpen, because you might not even have to get to your bullpen, or if you might only have to use your bullpen for 1 inning.
Right.
I mean,
right. But again,
hey, I'm just glad baseball's back, and I'll be able to go watch the Cincinnati Reds play here before too long.
100%. But one person who won't be coming back is Khalil Mack. The Chicago Bears have sent him over to LA. Chris, what was your immediate reaction to that trade?
Oh, I was surprised as hell. I didn't think there was any way the Bears was going to be getting rid of Mack. I think this makes the Chargers defense a lot better, especially with having Bosa. Because, I mean, now you can't just double team Bosa all the time because you have Khalil Mack there, and it's going to work vice versa. So, but I was really surprised. I had no idea that the Bears was going to get rid of Mack. But I do think the Chargers is a good fit for him. Like I said, with having Bosa there as well, that could be a scary defense, especially pass rush.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Well, I mean, for the Bears, I get it. You are paying Khalil Mack a lot. Yeah. And let's be honest. It's time for them to kind of shift their attention away from defense. It's time for them to be, you got your, who they believe is their franchise quarterback in Justin Fields. So they believe they got their guy.
A new head coach.
There are rumblings that they want to retain Allen Robinson. So it's like, all right. So you believe that he could still be your number one guy. So it's like now it's time for you to shift it over to offense. So I get it for the Bears. The Chargers, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. I have mixed signals because or mixed emotions for this because, well, first and foremost, obviously you're getting a stud in Khalil Mack, right? Let's be honest. Damien says I'm a little pissed he left, but at the same time, yep, it saved it saved the Bears a lot of money that they have no problem using.
But were you surprised that they didn't get more from Mack?
Here's the thing, though. I want to say yes because it's easy for we need to put context here, right? We need to put context here. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was a second-round draft pick and a sixth-rounder, right? And I think the second-rounder. Okay, so the second-rounder is for this year, and the sixth-rounder is for next year. So, again, on paper, it's like, oh yeah, 100. You know what I mean? We gotta, we need him. You know what I mean? Like on paper. However, that's the casual way of looking at it. This year, Khalil Mack he hasn't even played 8 games. I think he only played like 7 games. So I guarantee you that right there is what it's impacting on. Yeah. I'm almost 110% positive that's why they didn't get as much as they wanted.
Yeah, because if he'd been healthy all last season,
right,
they'd have got a lot more for him. I agree.
100. I'll be honest with you. If it was that, nobody would have traded for him because the amount that they could have actually demanded for a healthy Khalil Mack who has shown you he can play.
Oh yeah.
That's just, you know what I mean? That what you can get for him, you can ask for an enormous price. You can. Now, obviously, him missing him only playing 7 games, I think that's what factored into it. My concern with Khalil Mack, he's now 30. This injury thing, is it a one-off or is it the beginning? Is he gonna have a JJ Watt type of career now?
Yeah.
Where you can still play, but you just can't stay healthy. That's basically my concern here, and that's basically the main question I have. That's why for the Chargers, I'm nervous, but at the same time, to your point, Chris, they didn't give up a lot. A second-rounder this year and a sixth-rounder next year, which they still got plenty of picks, too.
And I'm not
plenty, but they still have a decent amount of picks.
And if Mack can stay healthy, that sixth-rounder and second-rounder is going to look like nothing.
Mean nothing. Let's be honest. Like if he could stay healthy, and let's be honest, he could literally get 0 sacks. It won't matter. It won't matter because if they double team him, like you said, Joey Bosa is just going to be running.
Yeah, just him being out there. The threat of him out there is going to be enough to, I think, help Bosa some.
Right. Well, not some, immensely.
Yeah,
immensely. You know what I mean? This is actually a good question. With all the Bears saving the money, do they extend Allen Robinson?
I don't know.
Actually, I think on this. Oh wow!
I like Robinson, but I don't know if he's a true number one.
Well, let's be fair. Let's be honest.
He's also been in Chicago, and we haven't seen him with. I mean, he hasn't been with a lot of top level quarterbacks throwing him the ball either. And you had Matt Nagy, which I think that was most of Bears' problem was Nagy. I've never been a Matt Nagy.
Yeah, 100%. Nagy definitely was. But here's the thing. So again, he played 12 games. Not bad. 66 targets, 38 receptions, 410 yards. This is his second lowest of his career. No, I lied. Well, technically the second lowest. Technically, his lowest was in Jacksonville. His final year in Jacksonville, where he got hurt. So I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to count that because he got hurt in the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he literally got hurt on his first target. So, but his final year only 410 yards. Here's the thing: do you extend him? It's like the same thing with like a lot of the other quarterback situations going on. It probably you can understand the thought of not extending Allen Robinson, but you gotta give Justin Fields somebody. You gotta give him some type of number one or some semblance of a number one, and like
who's going to be out there that's better than Robinson if you don't right now if you don't extend him?
To be honest, I mean, who's better? Let's be honest, who's better?
Right, there's not a whole lot of receivers out there because I'll be honest with you. The Colts need a receiver, and when I heard Chicago might get rid of Robinson, I was hoping maybe the Colts would get him because he's one of the better options that might be available.
Exactly. So it's kind of like this weird thing where it's like I don't know how much. I will say this: if you guys are gonna extend him, do not give him top tier money.
If you want
to extend him and he's
2 or 3 year deal or something like that,
give him a solid two year deal, 3rd-year option. Give him that something, where you're kind of rewarding him, and then let's see where it goes. So that way, if he ends up balling, because he's balling, you could maybe give him a little extra because again, he is 28. He's going to start getting up there pretty soon. So, this is basically this is probably what he's still in his prime, right? You can
look how many quarterbacks he's been through there in Chicago.
Right. I mean, so that probably doesn't really help him at all.
No.
You know what I mean? So would I extend him? I'll be honest, I would. I would extend him. However, I'm not giving him that top tier money.
No, I wouldn't either.
I'm not. I'll give him something respectable. Like let's say what? So you said what? 3 years, right?
Yeah.
3 years, what? 7.5?
Yeah, I'd do 7.5.
7.5, right? Maybe 8.
Yep.
That's respectable.
And the Bears are basically in a situation where they almost have to extend them because, like you said, they have to give Fields has to have somebody to throw the ball to, and
right.
And who's out there? I mean, that's better than him. That's available.
And let's be fair here. When he has played, they're doubling him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe even if you just have him as like a diversion type of situation, you do something like that, and maybe you can open up some of the young, because they do have some young wide receivers on that roster that could potentially break out.
I think their offense is going to look a lot better this year, just getting away from Nagy and getting into a different system. So
I said that I said this, and people who don't, people got mad at me when I said this, but I genuinely felt like this team could have been a wild card team. This Chicago Bears team could have been a wild card team had Matt Nagy not coached them.
Yep.
If it was anybody else, this is a wild card team.
Yeah,
10%. This is a wild card team. It was just Matt Nagy that was kind of in the way.
People thought he was an offensive genius because he was with Andy Reid, and his offense never impressed me at all. Do 3 or 4 reverses to try to gain a yard. It's like, what are you doing?
I don't know what's worse, that or Joe Judge trying to run a QB run up the middle, like that little QB sneak thing he did. It was like 30, like 14, and they're like inside their own. I think it was like their own 7-yard line. And he did. I'm like, so is Matt Nagy here all of a sudden? Like, what's going on? So it's like,
how do you think the players looked at the quarterback when he called that the huddle?
Right. And here's the problem. He's not going to want any. He's basically going to want at least 12. If he wants 12, you're now in an awkward situation where it's like, do you really want to pay that? If you want to pay that, hey, have at it, re-sign him. But this is a conversation they're gonna have to have. Let's be honest. If you don't want anything under 12, I'll meet you at 9 point. I'll meet you at 9.5. I'll meet you there, but I'll be honest with you.
9, 5, 10, but I don't think more than that.
No, anyone signs up for 10, I don't know how you look at yourself in the mirror. No disrespect to Allen Robinson. No disrespect to him whatsoever. But let's be honest. I'm not paying for 10, especially after a disaster, coming off a disastrous season. You know, you at least need a 1-year deal to prove it was just a fluke. You know? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Because they always say in the NFL, we pay you based off what you did last year. And then we use that to determine what you're going to do. So if you go and say, oh, yeah, you know, I was bad this year. But last year, you know, the year before last, you already lost. You already lost. So it's a shame. Again, if he wants 12 million, give him 12. Go ahead. He's not doing the Patriots, so I don't care.
If you're gonna give him 12, if you're gonna give him 12, I do like a 1-year deal, and then like maybe an option for a second year, kind of like what the Colts did with the quarterback.
What I would do, I would talk to him, and I would give him. I'd be like, here's what we'll do. We'll give you 9 guaranteed. We will give you your 12, but the rest is based on incentives.
Yep.
I feel like if you do it that way, you're giving him enough money where he can be like, all right, cool. But then at the same time, that 12, you know, him wanting 12 or 13, that's not fully out the window.
And give them that much guaranteed. I mean,
you give him that much guaranteed, he'll at least come to the table and have a conversation with you.
Yes.
You do that and go, yeah, you know, we might be reaching a little bit here, but the rest is going to be in incentives. You know what I mean? We're going to have like, you know, that ladder happy incentive base. So if you make the Pro Bowl, you know, if you know, we'll give you like playoffs, you know, playoffs. If you have like 100-yard games, you know, 10 reception games, you know, like something like that. Because if I'm Allen Robinson, that's the type of contract I want. Because how many times have we seen players get big money contracts and all of a sudden fall off the face of the planet? Yeah. You know what I mean? I would almost want that because it kind of still keeps you kind of motivated.
And if you don't sign with the Bears for like 9 like that, and you think because you're wanting 12, what's the market going to be for him? No other teams out there that are going to give him 12. You know what I mean? I don't think there's other teams that are going to want to give him 12.
No way. No one. I don't think so anyway. I don't think anyone's giving him 12. No way.
Because they're going to be looking at it, like you said, what he done last year, and then trying to project what he's going to do this year.
Right.
And even if they project you in the middle of that, you're not worth 12.
Right. I mean, let's be honest, like, you know, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but I want to put like his best season was probably his second year. You can make the argument. 151 targets, 80 receptions, 1,400 yards. He averaged about 87 and a half yards per game. His receiving yards per target 9.8, which, you know, great. I'm trying to find how many touchdowns he had. I passed it like a clown. They don't tell me. Oh no, I lied. I'm my goofy ass looking at the wrong place. Second, he had 14 touchdowns, 61 first downs. You know what I mean? That right there, you can make an argument that's worth 12. You can make that argument. Because what he's probably going to do is go, oh, do you like those numbers? He's going to go, oh, yeah, well, in 2020, you know, the year before last, I put up similar numbers. You know what I mean? Where in 2020, he had 78 receiving yards per game. Not bad. The touchdowns dropped from 14 to 6. But, you know, you can make the argument, oh, yeah, there was turmoil. 1250 in terms of yards, 12.3 yards per reception. So it's like,
well, that year the Bears didn't score a whole lot of touchdowns, period. Anyway,
right. So it's like, you know, I don't, you know, again, I don't know if he truly wants 12. he can't leave Chicago because I think Chicago will be the only place or only team that'll give him something and then give him an incentive-based type of situation. I don't think anybody else is going to do that for him.
I think the other teams are going to want almost like a prove it deal. Hey, we'll sign you, and
Right.
if you have a good season, then we'll talk about
Exactly.
giving you more money.
Exactly. That's basically what they're going to do.
Because you just don't know. You don't know what you're getting because of last year being injured, not getting to play all the time. Plus, like we talked about, all the quarterbacks going in and out. But I mean, you can use that as a little bit of an excuse. But look what Hopkins did in Houston with the quarterbacks he had to work with.
Right. He did. No, 100%. 100%. That's like that. Yeah. But, and another thing we also need to take into consideration too, this is like another thing we also need to really look at. We literally just said about Khalil Mack that the reason he didn't get as much, when they traded for him, the reason was because, he just came off that injury. We know what he can do, but since you're coming off injury, then we can say the same thing about Allen Robinson. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he played 12 games, but let's be fair, a good chunk of those games that he played, he was still nicked up. You know what I mean? So that's another thing people are going to look at. Like, you weren't even healthy, bro. Well, to also be fair, he didn't play his best because Bears were playing with his money, so I don't blame him for it. Or for not playing his best because Bears not doing anything for him. I mean, to an extent, I get that to an extent.
Yeah, but right there, that's kind of a red flag. A team ain't going to want a guy if you're not happy, you're not going to play your best. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're getting in that area, kind of like what James Harden had going on when he's not happy.
Right.
Gator wait, don't play.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be oof. Oh yeah, but
I was hoping he was going to be on the market and maybe the Colts get Robinson just because we need some receiver help, and I don't think there's going to be anybody better than him available. But I think the Bears will probably end up keeping him because they have to have some kind of number one weapon for Fields if you're going to try to develop Fields.
Yeah. You said something. You don't even think he's a number one, do you? Damn.
No.
You think he's a glorified number two?
I think he'd be a real solid number two.
Okay. All right. So you look at
some of that could be like you said. Oh, he's never really had that other another receiver on the other side where he's not getting double teamed. So I mean that could if you have but a true number one can get their numbers usually no matter if they're getting double teamed or not. So I mean,
right. It's crazy, bro. Damien said Bears need Bobby Wagner now. I don't think so. Nah, no way. Where
do you think Wagner's going to end up at?
Is that what?
Where do you think Wagner's going to end up at?
No, honestly.
Probably LA. That's where everybody's going.
I mean, to be honest, let's be honest. Everyone in their mind wants to go there. But, I mean, I could think of a couple places. Now, this is something also take into consideration. He does not have an agent. He's going the Richard Sherman route where he's basically going to be negotiating everything, which I think is going to bode for him better because not only does he get to sit down face to face, but instead of having to go through an agent and be, you know what I mean, and say, oh, yeah, well, we told your agent that, like, everything's going straight through Bobby Wagner. So with that being said, I saw something where it was New England, which I like to an extent, but I also don't. Because at the same time, I don't get why we would let go of J.C. Jackson, one of our best corner, not one of, literally our best corner. Why would we get rid of him to just get another linebacker? That doesn't, to me, it just doesn't make sense. But, Bill Belichick has his ways. So, the Patriots, I've heard of the Bills. That's another thing that they were actually thinking about. A dark horse that I've heard a lot and is actually starting to pick up a lot of steam, the 49ers. They want to pair him with Fred Warner. Now, I personally don't like that 110% Because it's like I think you were here. I made the same argument with him going to Dallas. I don't think it's a smart idea because now you're only relegating him to one thing when he could still perform at everything he does at a very high level. So I think it'll be a little bit of the same thing with the 49ers.
I know I've been hearing
one more team I'm forgetting.
I've been hearing reports about the Cowboys and Ravens and the Steelers.
Yes, yeah. I heard one place that has been reported that he's strongly.
And Broncos. I've heard that the Broncos are real interested in him.
Yes, he's their Broncos basically number 2 in terms of defense because they want to try to get Von Miller back because Von Miller said, "Hey, look, I want to come back and whatnot." If they can't match up the dollars, then they'll talk to Bobby Wagner. So Bobby Wagner has a market. Let's not pretend like he's a scrub. He has a market. Granted, he's not going to get that big money deal, but he will get paid. He get paid respectably. And I said this when we were talking about it. If I'm him, I go to Kansas City. It's a horrible defense. So not only will they pay me because they need me, so I'll get some pretty good money, and my minutes ain't gonna be messed with because they need me. So I ain't gonna lose no minutes. I don't gotta sacrifice nothing. They're gonna need me.
And if you come in and the defense gets better, you're gonna have a chance to maybe get a bigger contract.
Exactly. So, because they'll probably, if I'm him, probably do a 1-year deal and then try to get paid again. But to be honest, I don't think anyone's really going to handle him like that. Granted, if he wants like a max contract, then yeah, people are going to be like, all right, bro, relax. But I think he'll just want to be respectably paid. Someone said, it's for you, Chris. How would you feel if the Colts traded for Jordan Love?
Oh fuck! I'd be pissed. For everything I've seen on Jordan Love, he hasn't looked good, and so yeah, it wouldn't make no sense. Let's trade away Wentz, who played pretty decent last year, and let's go with the guy that we know nothing about. And all the reports we've heard have not been like he's going to come out and light the world on fire if he gets a chance to play. If the Packers thought he was any good, they wouldn't just gave Rodgers all the money they gave him. They'd be ready to move on to their pick that they moved up to get. Right. So I'm hoping that's not the route the Colts go. Yeah, I wouldn't like that at all.
Right. Now, this is Jake. He is a Chargers fan, so he's excited. The only concern I have with this trade, Khalil Mack, is this like with the injury he just had last year, is it the beginning of the end with him in terms of injuries? Is he basically going to be JJ Watt, or was last year just an aberration? So that's the only concern I have. But like Chris, you made this point. What you're giving up, it's this year's second rounder and then next year 6th. Not too bad, especially considering the Chargers still have, they still have picks. So,
and if Mac is healthy, man, he's gonna make that.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. If he's healthy, wow! If he's healthy, that Chargers running game is gonna be super duper scary. People forget about it. Listen, he's a pass rusher. Let's not play games like Khalil Mack can't handle himself in coverage. He's pretty, he's high in coverage.
Yeah, and then if they get him they already got him. If he's playing healthy, all you gotta do then is get the head coach to learn how to use the kicker, and the Chargers might go somewhere.
Jeez, man. But again, the potential, the upside for the Chargers, it's high.
Yeah.
110.
Especially with the way Herbert's progressing.
Oh, my God. He's progressing beautifully. Beautifully. No doubt.
The Dolphins are kicking themselves because
No, they're not. No, they're not. Because
I don't think so.
When in 3 years, when Tua Tagovailoa has an MVP, a Super Bowl, and a Super Bowl MVP.
You're a Tua fan.
I'm a Tua boy, bro. I'm a Tua. and here's my thing when it comes to Tua. I just think we just need to give him some time.
Yeah, that's a big injury.
Yeah, he's still in his rookie contract, so to pretend he's a bust, he shows glimpses. He shows he has something, right? Let's develop him and see. We said the same thing about Jalen Hurts. And now all of a sudden, everyone likes Jalen Hurts. Now all of a sudden. So I'm just saying, look, give him the rookie contract and let's see what happens. If he ends up being a bust at the end of his rookie contract, well, then it's okay for you to call him a bust and a backup and move on, right? But after 2 years, to be that confident when he has shown you glimpses that he can play, I don't think it's fair to call him a bust just yet.
See, I don't think he's a bust.
A little bit.
I don't think he's a bust. And one thing I think that's hurt him is he really, since he's been in there, he hasn't had a coach that's believed in him. I mean, look what Flores would pull him out in the third quarter and bring in Fitzpatrick. I think if he gets a coach that believes in him, and maybe that's going to help his confidence, because a lot of it with him, when I watch him play, is if a guy isn't wide open, he'll kind of hesitate a little bit, and that's just mostly confidence and believing in yourself. If you don't have a front office and a coach that believes in you, your confidence isn't going to be at that level. So I think it might help him being around a new coach.
Right. And on top of that, they got that new coach. I forgot his name, but he came for the Niners and he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to show you guys what we got with Tua.
Is it McDaniel or something like that?
No. It's like, I'll tell you right now, because
can't remember the guy's name now. I remember.
Yeah, they said that he's
it's a guy, because it was a guy I never heard of. I'm like, how the hell did
yeah, Mike McDaniel. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, McDaniel. You're right. Mike McDaniel, who is funny because they were like, oh, yeah, he's Hispanic. And then I was like, oh, cool. That's what's up. And then you hear the guy talk, and then he's just like, oh, yeah, I don't, he's like, I'm Hispanic by my old ex-friends, grandmothers, best friends, coworkers, neighbors, next door friends, dogs, cat, uncle who, served a tour, was born in America and served a tour in Cuba, was run for the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's how I'm Hispanic. That's how he almost explains it. It's so weird. So weird. Yeah. I don't know. But supposedly he's
I've never even heard of him before.
Oh my God. If I'm not mistaken, he came from the Niners.
So Shanahan tree. That's basically why.
I think so. I want to say yes. I want to say he came from the Shanahan tree. I could be wrong. Let me double check.
I think you're right. I'm pretty sure he did come from the Niners.
I'm trying to make sure because I don't,
It was just weird because I'd never heard his name mentioned for a head coaching job before. Then all of a
sudden, never. Like,
but that's the thing. That's the thing that's popular now. If you're around Shanahan or McVay, if you're in that tree, teams want you because they want that offensive scheme that they have.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh wow! So he's had a lot of stops. Oh God, he is seasoned. Oh, no, he's seasoned. So he started with the Broncos in 2005 at the age of 22. This kid must be a prodigy. The Broncos hired him as a coaching intern under Mike Shanahan. Then after that, in 2006, he was hired as an offensive assistant by the Houston Rockets, and where he worked under Gary Kubiak. Then the Sacramento Mountain Lions. I think that's no, it's in the UFL. Okay. So he went to the UFL and he was a running backs coach in 2009. He was there for a little bit. Then in 2011, he came back to the NFL and was, part of the Washington football team as an offensive assistant. And basically Mike Shanahan was the one who brought him on. Okay. So do you remember when the Washington football team had it was Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and Matt LaFleur, and it was he was a part of that group.
Okay.
And then he later was promoted to wide receivers coach later that year. Then in 2014, he was hired by Cleveland to be their wide receivers coach. And then in 2015, he was hired by the Falcons as an offensive assistant coach under Dan Quinn. And then he was in 2017, he was hired by the Niners as their run game coordinator.
So he's never been an offensive coordinator or anything.
It's called run game coordinator. That was his. But
He
yeah,
went from the run game coordinator to a head coach.
man, bless his heart. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. I'm not even gonna say a word. Bless his heart. Like,
Well, we're going to seems like a dysfunctional franchise over there in Miami. So
to be honest, but he's got a little bit of a history.
yeah, been around for a while.
Oh yeah, no, he has been. I didn't realize he was around that long. I remember hearing that he was a part of the Washington football team coaching staff where I had all of them be future head coaches. I knew that. I just did not know that that he had pretty much a relatively successful career, relatively, because people definitely want him.
Crazy, Washington had all that coaching talent in their building at one time. It couldn't do nothing.
That's wild.
Now look what the guys are doing.
That's so weird. Hold on, did you say this man coach a basketball team? No, he didn't coach a basketball team. No. The Sacramento Mountain Lions, that's in the UFL. So he took, I think it's like a year off from the NFL to go there, and then he came right back, and then he's been in there ever since. So, congrats to him. I mean, that's crazy, bro. That's 110% crazy. But before we get into anything else, because there's a specific topic I want to bring up with you. The Nets just dominated Philly. But before that, let's take a quick commercial break.
Get ready. This summer, the Arena League Sports is on ASAP Network. Tune in live on either the Tiki Live or Roku app, as well as your smart home TV.
Yes, sir. It's going to be coming soon, so just pay attention to all of our social media. It's Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff, YouTube, and we will let you know when we have more information. Let me say, I said they played with Coach the Houston Rockets. When did I say anything about the Houston Rockets?
I didn't hear nothing about the Houston Rockets.
I didn't say nothing about no Houston Rockets. No, because now I'm about to re-pull it up.
You're gonna go back.
No, 100%. Denver Broncos, Houston. I said the Houston Texans. I said the Houston Texans, Damien. Do better. God damn it. But the Nets dominated Philly 129-100. It was the funniest game I think I've ever seen in my life. James Harden was held to 3 for 17. This Nets team bullied James Harden.
Yeah.
They had Kyrie Irving playing defense. That lets you know they low-key salty about how things ended. I don't care what nobody said.
Yeah.
They're in their feelings a little bit with how things ended.
When's the last time you seen Kyrie Irving play defense like that?
When's the last time he played defense, period?
Yeah, he was playing hard on the defensive side of the ball last night.
And that's the thing, like he was getting beat so bad, and he was still stepping up. Like let this sink in. Kyrie Irving, who can't spell defense, was doing everything he possibly could to make sure James Harden did not have a single clean shot. Like, that is hilarious.
The Nets came out fired up for that game, and the Sixers didn't.
Probably, and they were trying to chant about Ben Simmons, and it's funny because it's like, yo, y'all getting smacked. They're like, shut up.
And Simmons didn't even play it yet.
Nah, he didn't care.
He did start practicing, though. He did start practicing with the team, so that's a good sign. That means he might be coming back soon.
I'm telling you, bro.
Let's get him back. Let's get him back. And
It's a wrap. It's I don't.
if they stay healthy, who's going to beat them?
Yeah. Because now you have a guy in, like, let's be honest, you have a guy in Ben Simmons who's helping you on the defensive side of the ball, because now you have Kevin Durant, who's literally a walking bucket. Let's just get that one out the way. You got Kyrie, who when he decides to play can score. And then you got Seth Curry, who's like, all of a sudden, like, yeah, about average 27. Who cares? So you already got three guys being able to score like that, which is great. Then you got old head James Johnson, who, he'll give you some here and there. Patty Mills, obviously, you got to worry about him. Goran Dragic, another guy you have no choice but to respect. I have a whole bunch of guys you have to respect. Throw Ben Simmons in there.
Yeah. Especially while he can go and help him as much. He'll help on the defensive side.
Well, don't get it twisted. Yeah, offensively he won't. Let's be fair. Well, I don't want to say offensively he won't, because he'll still get his.
Yeah.
But he definitely doesn't have a shot. Let's not pretend all of a sudden that he has one. I have seen him working on it with who was it? I think it was Kyle Korver.
I would love it if he came out in the first game and was shooting jumpers from everywhere and hitting them.
Right. And here's the thing: like when I have seen him working on his shot, and what I've seen I liked, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up until I see him do it in a game.
But he can get to the rim.
He can. So I think, because he averages 15 points per game, I think you give him that. You give this Brooklyn Nets team that, you're fine. You're golden. Because
he's a good rebounder as well. That's something else that he'll help, especially on offensive.
Because he's got size. You know what I mean? So you can sit down and hey, look, we're gonna put you at the 4, but we'll let you run the floor a little bit. I think that's great.
And he can be a facilitator too. I mean, it ain't like he can't pass the ball. He can be. He's good at facilitating.
And this
like
is
I
what
said, that's why I thought the Warriors should have went after him.
Yeah, because you're basically getting a younger Draymond.
Yeah,
because he and this is what I was telling people back when it was unpopular to say this. Ben Simmons isn't trash. He can't shoot a lick. Let's not get that to it. He can't shoot a lick. I don't know if he can't shoot or he won't shoot. I don't know, but he ain't shooting. However, you cannot ignore everything. Listen to this inconsistency. Listen to this inconsistency, Chris. Listen to this inconsistency. Ben Simmons doesn't have a jump shot. He's trash. Matisse Thybulle doesn't have a jump shot. This kid is electric. Yep. And people talk about Matisse Thybulle. They don't talk about potential. They don't talk about what he could be. They do that with Maxey. Maxey's the one where they're like, yo, this kid got great potential. When they talk about Thybulle, it's how he is. It's how he is. Kid can't shoot a lick. So it's like, excuse my French, what the fuck? What are we, you know what I mean? It's like, and again, it's easy to harp on Ben Simmons. I understand, because, when he passed up that wide open layup. And again, I've been consistent with this. He deserves.
Now I'm not the only one that dropped the F-bomb on the day's show.
I know. But, he passed out the wide open layup. Bad look, horrible. I get it. That's wide open. I understand it, right? But here's my thing. To pretend it was solely Ben Simmons' fault is completely uneducated. Because to keep him in the game, he made Trae Young go cold. Joel Embiid is out here pretending he's KD trying to do step backs. Trying to dribble that ball down to get stripped. Tobias Harris. I like Tobias Harris. He was there to give them scoring, and he didn't. Thybulle's out here breaking free throws too. So it's like, and again, obviously I said before, Doc Simmons turning his back, being a prima donna, like he did when the Clippers lost that 3-1 lead. So if you look, I think there's enough blame to go around. To solely put it on Ben Simmons, I thought that was unfair. I really did. I really thought it was unfair. Because to
Yeah,
put all of it on him, like it's so
with Ben Simmons for some reason, that's all they talk about with Simmons is a negative. But if you like we were saying, if you look at Draymond Green, Simmons is that exact player, just more athletic in my opinion.
He's the same thing, but
Draymond Green can't shoot, and look how
he can't. He could shoot better. He definitely could shoot better.
At least he'll shoot it. He'll shoot it, but he's not a great shooter.
Yeah, he's not. But if he's wide open, he'll shoot it. And whatever happens. He can get hot. But for me, man, it just doesn't make sense. Ben Simmons, like he went to Brooklyn, and all of a sudden he's talking, and he just looks happier. He just looks happier, and it's like I'm glad you're happy. I really am, because I said all the time, yes, he could develop his game. He has not gotten better, 110%. He has not gotten better. I'm not gonna argue that. But let's not pretend this kid did not make 3 straight All-Star games or All-Star teams. Let's not pretend he's never been he made any all-defense teams.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend that he wasn't in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. And I will say this until I die. He was robbed. Rudy Gobert did not deserve it. He was robbed.
Someone should have got it that year.
So it's like, how can you do all of that? And like Philly was the number 1 seed, but guess what? They did it with who? With Ben Simmons. With Benjamin Simmons. You guys were the number 1 seed. So it's like I don't think it's fair to solely blame him. The Nets the Nets just did not care. They slapped them in their face. Do you think that this win, that the Nets really beating this Philly team, as bad and as convincing as they did, do you think there's something behind it? Did we truly learn anything from this win?
I don't think we really learned anything other than that James Harden usually fades in bigger moments, which a lot of people called that a big game last night. But I mean, how big of a game was it really last night? The playoffs is where you need Harden to step up.
True. Yeah, I mean, I do think it was a big game. I really do.
It was a big game, but I think the media is overreacting on Harden a little bit.
You think?
But he played terrible. I'm not like a diehard James Harden fan. He played terrible last night, but like I said, it's a regular season game. Now, if he plays like this and it'd been like the first playoff game, yeah, I think you go all in on him. But like you said, they got bullied last night. They did. They got bullied from start to finish in that game.
Yep. And here's my thing. And here's my thing. I do not, under any circumstances, believe that. I don't think they're overreacting. Because is this a playoff game? No, it's not. However, let's also be honest here. This is a potential playoff matchup.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because when Ben Simmons comes back, and you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Right now, the Brooklyn Nets are in the play-in, right? They're in the play-in. They're the 8th seed. Can Atlanta beat Brooklyn?
Oh, no.
Okay. Can Charlotte beat Brooklyn?
No.
Can the Wizards beat Brooklyn? Can the Wizards beat Brooklyn? Because the Wizards technically can get into the play-in. Can the Raptors beat Brooklyn?
No.
Okay. How about the Knicks?
No.
Okay. This is not a shot at you, but the Pacers.
No.
It's not a shot, I promise. Detroit.
No.
Orlando.
No.
Okay. So I just named every team that's outside of the top 6, right? So they're going to be in the play-in, right? And potentially could end up with the 7th seed. Potentially, right?
Which would be good for them because you get more road games.
Right. So they're the 7th seed. And guess what? The 7th seed plays as number 2 seed. Philly can potentially get that 2 seed.
Yeah. Philly don't want Brooklyn
You know?
first round playoffs.
No, they don't want Brooklyn. Period. They
Especially, yeah.
they don't want Brooklyn. Period. They don't want Brooklyn. A healthy Brooklyn, they don't want them. They don't. They'd rather take their chances. If I'm them, I stay at the. If I'm Philly, I stay at the 3. I might consider staying at the 3 because I think it'll be a 3-6 matchup where they play Cleveland. I'd rather do that and let if Brooklyn gets up to the number 7 seed, let Milwaukee deal with them.
If Brooklyn's healthy, I don't think there's a team in the East that's going to beat them. I mean,
I think Chicago has the opportunity. My only concern right now with Chicago, their injuries, man. Like they haven't been, like at first in the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, that's gutsy, you know what I mean? But when you have to deal with injuries all year, you think it's just gonna stop for the playoffs? Like, nah, bro. Like more times than not, it ends up leaking into the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like that's just usually how it goes, unfortunately. And the thing with Chicago, it's not like a guy misses a couple games then comes back. They'll miss a game, come back to miss 2, come back, then they miss 3 weeks, then they come back to miss 4 weeks. It's a revolving door. And it's you know what I mean? So that's really where my concern really comes in.
if Chicago's healthy, they have good depth. So I mean, that would be
healthy.
That'd be a good series,
right? You know what I mean? But can they stay healthy? That's where I kind of go, because early in the beginning of the season, I was on Chicago. I was on it. I was like, yeah, I'm still rocking with them, but I'm very concerned because it's like, injuries don't stop just because of the playoffs.
How much is it going to affect? How much is it going to affect Brooklyn not having Irving for the home games in the playoffs?
If Ben Simmons is playing, I don't think it matters. Only because think about it. You have Seth Curry has been balling out of his mind. If he can keep that up, you got a number 2 guy who can help KD. Because let's be honest, KD's gonna do KD things.
Yeah.
So we don't gotta worry about KD, right? So he's fine. Seth Curry has been great. Not only him, Patty Mills. Whenever he needs to step up, he stepped up. So you have guys on this roster that has stepped up when need be. So I don't think you got to put all that pressure on Ben Simmons. I don't think you need to put all that pressure to the point where it's like, oh yeah, Ben, come on. You need to be that dude. Which again is a shame because Ben Simmons does have all that talent. Let's be honest. He's got nothing but talent, but without that jump shot, it's gonna be tricky. And it sucks, but again, they have other guys who can step up. So with all that pressure not being on Ben Simmons, I think the home games, I think they'll be okay. I think they have enough where they can get a home game or 2. Well, they'll be able to win it.
Yeah.
I think they have that.
Yeah, I agree. Because all they need from Simmons is just come be yourself and put up your normal numbers, and I think they'll be fine without Irving. Because like you said, it's not going. All the pressure's not going to be on Simmons. You're not going to have the coach throwing Simmons under the bus or other players blaming Simmons. So you're not. All the pressure's not going to be on him to try to make up for Irving not being there. They'll be able to make up for Irving not being there as a team, not just through one player.
Right. You know what I mean? So that's why I personally think, that's why I won't be too worried, but who knows? We really won't know. Let's be honest here, But like I said, if you look at it, you have plenty of other guys who can step up. And even if one guy doesn't step up entirely, you have guys who can step up in tandem, right? So let's say Steph Curry gives you 15. You can rely for another 15 on Patty Mills. That's 30. Goran Dragic will probably give you another 10, right? That's 40, right? And let's be honest, Andre Drummond, let's not act like, his clean, when he can clean up.
Dude,
he really can.
The Nets cleaned up on that trade, if you ask me. I mean, getting Curry and Drummond.
Yeah, I think they won. I know for a fact they won, in my opinion. But in terms of if there will be a loser, I don't think we'll know that for like another 2 years.
Yeah.
Because it all depends on what the Sixers do with James Harden. That's really what it comes down to. If they end up winning a ring with him, then you can make an argument that both teams won. Like if the Sixers win this year and then next year it's the Nets, then I think you can make a legitimate argument that nobody lost his trade, that they both won.
Yeah.
I think you can make that argument. You know, so I love you.
What? Who do you think? Let's say that the Nets make the finals against and let's say it's Phoenix.
Oh,
I think that'd be a fun series to watch.
Let's go with 7.
The Warriors look good last night, and they're getting ready to get. Draymond's supposed to be coming back Monday, and I guess Wiseman's pretty close to coming back as well.
Yeah, Wiseman is in the G League right now.
Yeah, he's in the G League.
Yeah, he's doing his rehabbing stint right now.
And Green said he's coming back Monday, and then Iguodala, hopefully they get him back soon. I know he's not a big offensive threat, right? Really, but he helps a lot.
Depth. He still gives you depth.
Yeah,
that you definitely would need. Steph dropped 34. Clay gave them, 18.
He looked better on the defensive end though than what he had the last few games.
Well, defensively, Clay's been solid. I think he's been solid defensively. For me, where I get, nervous is just the inconsistency with him.
A lot of his shots the last couple of games have been short.
Yeah.
Leaving a lot of his shots short.
Yes.
I mean, is that from fatigue? Could that be from fatigue because he hadn't played for a couple of years? And
I think it's. I'll be honest. I think it's fatigue. I think it's a combination of fatigue, a combination of him still trying to get in shape. You know what I mean? I just think I think it's a combination of things.
I think it's a combination of that and a combination of him pressing a little bit because he's wanting to do more.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we're not really taking into consideration. It's just the fact that in his mind he's like, I can't keep messing up. I can't keep messing up. I can't keep messing up. So it's like this internal pressure he's putting on himself.
You get in your own head.
Where he's like, I'm hurt. I'm hurt, but listen now, I'm Klay Thompson. I'm a top 3 shooter all time at worst. I got to get it together. You know what I mean? On top of that, if you listen to a lot of people who said, oh, his shooting mechanics will be fine. So when he comes back in terms of shooting, he'll be okay. Then you hear all of that. You start to believe it. And then all of a sudden it's not translating. It's this weird thing where you're, obviously Golden State isn't going to trade him or cut him or anything like that. But it's almost as if Klay in his mind, he's like, damn, if I slip up, they're going to get rid of me. That's almost the vibe I'm getting from him. And it's like, I mean, yeah, you need to play better. Let's not get it twisted. You definitely do need to play better. But relax, pump the brakes. You're not a scrub. You're not a bum. They're not going to get rid of you. They're going to give you time.
He's putting pressure on himself that don't need to be there.
Huh?
He's putting pressure on himself that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, that doesn't need to be there. You know what I mean? Like, and that, you know what I mean? And it really is a shame. It really
is. Man, that Jordan Poole, that dude's been balling.
I got him on my fantasy. I'll be honest, bro. I was this close to cutting him when Klay came back. And then something told me, they were like, don't cut him. And I was like, why? I had a whole conversation with myself about it. Swear to God, I had a whole conversation. I was like, why? I'm like, why not? And I was like, what if Klay plays bad? And I was like, I doubt it. But they're like, what if? And I was like, yeah, what if? And then here he is. What's up, Dustin?
Can you guys hear me? Does my mic sound like that?
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Good. All right.
Yeah, but yeah, like it's wild, bro.
That lineup with Poole and Thompson and Curry all on the floor at the same time, man. They've been looking good.
Great, and what I like about it, and this is something that I respect a lot about Jordan Poole. he's not doing anything dumb. And what I mean by that, he sees them and he goes, "Hey, where do I fit? Okay, let me just squeeze on it." And he finds where he fits and does what he needs to do.
He's not
There are
trying to do too much.
no, there are times when they're like, "Look, bro, you got to shoot, 20 times," and he'll do that. And then there are times he only gets 3 shots, and
Yep.
you don't see him getting mad or anything like that. You don't see him doing that at all, which I think is great. Dustin,
Yeah.
so I want to bring you back to the beginning of this. The Nets dominated the Sixers 129 to 100. Did we really learn anything from this dominant Brooklyn Nets win?
It's kind of what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, that as frustrating as the Nets have been all season, they're also probably the scariest team in the Eastern Conference, because who's going to want to play that team for a 7-game series? Especially if Kyrie Irving is not allowed to play in New York. Brooklyn would be smart to get a 5th seed or lower, knowing that they would have Irving for more games at that time. We've already seen how this team can play when Durant is healthy. We've already seen what Kyrie Irving can do. Ben Simmons will get added to the mix at some point, and that's going to improve that team's defensive ability. Brooklyn is still a very scary team, no matter what their record shows and no matter where they are in the standings. It wouldn't shock me at all to see them come out of the East even as an 8th seed.
Yeah, I mean, healthy Brooklyn Nets team is extremely dangerous. No debate that it's very scary. Let's just get that one out the way, because these guys, again, and I was telling Chris this. You have guys like Seth Curry who obviously could step up, but even let's say he just has a solid game. If you get him to give you something, Patty Mills, Goran Dragic, in combination, they can give you enough to offset the fact that Kyrie isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
They can give you enough for that. So again, James Harden shooting 3 for 17 is hilarious. In my opinion, I think it's funny. I thought, honestly, I thought it was, I thought it was obvious. It's like, usually when James Harden has a big game, he kind of, just in the regular season, I don't want to say he shrinks or anything. I just think in the regular season, he occasionally has, there's games that he just doesn't really care to try. I think this was one of those games. And I think where he messed up was the fact that, doesn't matter. Who cares? But Brooklyn cared.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. Like I think it was like in the second quarter, he started to try and he tried to take it serious. But by then it was too late.
And the funny thing is, we've seen this before where a lot of teams, if you go back to the year that Golden State went 73-9, and then they ended up losing the NBA Finals that year, there was a point during that regular season where if you watch the body language of a lot of those players, they just didn't even care. Because the regular season wasn't fun for them anymore, just because they were going out there and beating the brains out of everybody. That was just like, okay, well, we have to just wait till the playoffs. And then when they lost in the finals, you're like, okay, I guess we actually still can get beat, which is why they got Kevin Durant and then ended up winning another title right after.
Right. So, it's just, it's just a shame. It really is. I low-key wish Ben Simmons was on the court for that. I feel like that's something. I think he would have enjoyed that moment for him to actually, participate in all that stuff. So
He was on the court for it.
and yeah, he was on the sideline, which it's cool, but I don't, I just hope. On the topic of the day, Dustin, let me start with you. Straight up, I'm here to start a riot. Who is the best player in the NBA, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I still say Durant.
It's who?
Durant.
Durant? Okay.
Just because of what he can do offensively. He's a 6'11", 7-footer. He might only weigh 210 pounds because he's skinnier than a beanpole, but you really can't guard the guy. He's got the size where he can post you up and just take you to the hole. He's got the handles like a point guard where he can drive the lane, kick it out to open shooters. And obviously we've seen his 3-point range where he shoots almost 40% from beyond the arc. there's really not much you can do to defend him because he's got height, he's got length, which a lot of players don't have. And then he shoots like an absolute shooting guard or a point guard. So it's like, if I take him out of the inside, I have to have him beat me from the outside. If I take away his outside game, he can beat me from the mid-range or from inside. Like LeBron James is more that physical banger that likes to drive to the lane and get to the lane and kind of use the mid-range game more so. But I just think Durant has so much more offensive ability than LeBron James does because of what he can do with the ball in his hands. That I just have to give him the best player right now just because he's, I think, in my opinion, the only one that is unguardable. Like, you can guard LeBron James by kind of forcing him to, like, kind of post you up and stuff like that. But even if Durant does it, he still has the size and length where he can get over you.
Okay. Chris, best player in the NBA.
I agree with Dustin. I think Kevin Durant, when he's healthy, is the best player in the NBA right now because he can get to his spots and he can shoot over anybody. And he's not terrible on defense. He can play defense. Not that he plays defense all the time, but he's not terrible on defense. But you can play him at basically any position the way he can handle the ball. So I think Durant's the best player in the league right now.
Okay. So I'm gonna be the offie here. I think there's only one obvious answer that in this conversation. I think there's only one answer. This man was born in Akron to one glory. I'm Jess. I did. No, I promise I'm not gonna go on the whole LeBron James deal. But I think right now the best player is Nikola Jokic. I think when you have a guy who, when he sits on the bench, makes your entire team look different, I think that already lets you know everything. Hey. LeBron. Okay. So, yeah.
This is what happens when you call Jokic the best player over LeBron. Like, what happened?
and this is why I'm always free LeBron. But like, I think Jokic, when you have a guy like who can sit on the bench and makes your team, who's still a solid team without him, literally look lost and aimless and look like they're just wandering. Like, it's crazy. Like, Jokic is somehow, how he's doing this, God knows. But in the injury-riddled season, is 40-27. His MVP stats from last year
Are better.
he's just this year. He's just better. He's the de facto best player on that team. Whatever they need him to do, he does. 110%. So for me, it's like I think we need to put Jokic in that conversation. I think it's time for us to say, you know what? Jokic he's a problem. He really is. He's a problem for whoever he's playing. Because again, he does it, and he does all this without athleticism.
I guess going off of what you just said too, would you call him the greatest steal in NBA draft history?
Not even close. Not even close. I don't even think it's close.
I think he was pick number 52.
You know what?
I think he was pick number 52 or 54 the year he was drafted. He was
I'll tell you right now.
He was very late in the second round, I believe.
And the Nuggets are a team that people don't want to sleep on because from what they were talking like last night, Murray might be back.
Round, pick number 41.
Murray might be coming back soon. Barton should be back soon.
Yep.
So the Nuggets are going to get healthy. If they get healthy at the right time, they're going to be a dangerous team.
They're going to be very scary. I think, like you said, Murray's going to come back. Michael Porter Jr. is actually going to come back. Yeah, all that stuff.
And they said Barton's close to being back.
Yep. So now you got
everybody. If people knew Jokic would be this good, he would have been the number one pick. The year that he
100%, not even close.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to remember when they had the Nuggets also had, I think they also had Nurkic.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to make a decision. Who do we keep, Nurkic or Jokic?
And people actually criticize Arturas Karnisovas.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was heavily criticized. Like, what are you doing? And the Denver just came out and they were like, they doubled down. And they were like, look, we got this. We don't care. We're good. You know, we know what we're doing. And ever since then, he's just been, without a shadow of a doubt, just proving them that I was the right choice. He's just been, that's all he's been doing. He's just been going out there and simply proving it.
You think he will get MVP again this year?
Yeah. He better. Well, I mean this 110%.
The only one that deserves it outside of him would be Embiid, but because of what Pride's saying and what Denver looks like when Jokic is off the floor, you can't not.
You can't.
Yeah, I agree. Jokic should get it.
You can't deny it because of what he does. He literally has to do literally everything. Like, let me ask you guys a question. The 5 main categories, right? I'm gonna hit y'all with this, and then after that, this pretty much just sums up. Do you know who's the team leader for points per game on the 76ers?
Embiid.
Okay. Do you know who their rebounds per game leader is?
In the 76ers?
Yeah.
Not Embiid. I think it's Thibault, isn't it?
No, it's Embiid.
Oh, okay, it's Embiid.
It's Embiid. Do you know who their assists per game leader is?
Maxey?
Yep, 4.4, right? Do you know who their steals per game leader is?
Maxey?
Nope, this was Thibault. 1.7.
Thibault? Okay.
Yep. And the blocks per game, do you know who leads the team in that?
Embiid or Harris?
Embiid, right? So of those 5, Embiid leads in 3 of those, right?
Jokic has it on 5.
For Jokic, do you know who leads them in points per game?
Jokic.
For the Nuggets?
Jokic.
Do you know who leads them in rebounds per game?
Jokic.
Do you know who leads them in assists per game?
Jokic.
Do you know who leads them in steals per game?
Jokic.
Do you know who leads them in blocks per game?
Jokic.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Like,
the fact that he leads the team in steals shows you something like that.
Is
not only
big man.
Not only is he like a 6'11", 270 pounder, but he's a big man that can move and he's quick.
Dude, he runs backwards. He's so unathletic.
He done that last night. He ran backwards. Curry tried to throw one all the way down the court, and he just read up.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
It's like he was playing dodgeball snatch.
Yeah. So that's why me personally, right now, and I understand the name is, no one's really gonna agree because no one likes that name. But LeBron,
you have enough MVPs. Give it to somebody else.
But I mean, that's why I gotta go Jokic, man. Like, again, his MVP number. Like, let this sink in. He won MVP last year, and his numbers have gotten better. With all the injuries, is keeping this Denver Nuggets team out of the play-in. I don't know who else in the NBA. You put him on this team, I don't know who else can do it. I mean, maybe LeBron. Maybe KD.
I think Curry too.
I don't even think Curry can do it. I'll be honest. I don't even think Curry can do it. I don't think so.
What about Ja?
Nope. I don't think Ja Morant can do it either. I don't think so. Like, outside of Jokic, I think the only 2 guys would be LeBron and KD. I think after them, I don't feel comfortable saying yes to anybody else.
That could keep him out of the play-in, you say?
Yeah, keep him out of the play-in.
You could technically say Embiid was doing it up until he got hurt.
Maybe.
Because I don't think a lot of people expected the Sixers to be as good as they were without Simmons playing.
I don't know. That one's I don't know. And this one, someone said Luka.
We don't know because we haven't seen Luka do it yet.
True.
Because, I mean, yes, as bad as Porzingis played, he still had Porzingis with him. And now he's got Dinwiddie with him, so we don't know if he could actually do it if like one of those pieces is gone long term.
Yeah, Luka's close for me. Luka's close. That's a borderline one for me. But I think for Luka, you can make an argument he can, but I also think you can make an argument he can't. So I think that one for me is a borderline. But I don't feel comfortable saying yes to him. I'm trying to think who else. I don't think Damian Lillard can do it. Jimmy Butler definitely can't do it. I love Jason Tatum, but he
Giannis.
can't. Giannis can't.
You think Giannis could?
No, I don't think Giannis would be able to. Let me think. Karl Anthony Towns can't.
Jason Tatum.
I don't think. I said I love Jason Tatum. I don't think he could.
I just had to throw him in there.
I love him. Don't get it twisted. I love him. That's my guy. But I don't think he can. I'm trying to. Kawhi.
Russell Westbrook? No, just kidding.
I mean, Russell Westbrook would, he make him go over.
Russell Westbrook will put you in the play and then take you out of play.
But Booker's an interesting one.
I put him in the same category as Luka.
But in a way, what he did in the bubble, though.
True.
What he did in the bubble showed that he could probably get Phoenix out of the play on his own.
And that's why I'm saying, like, you can make an argument for him, but you could also say that prior to the bubble, he really wasn't, he was putting up numbers. Don't get it twisted. He was putting up great, phenomenal numbers. But, they really weren't doing much, as a team. So, yeah, outside of Jokic, and I'll be honest with you. A lot of these guys, the reason why I'm saying maybe is because if you were to ask me, I would not have thought Jokic would have been able to do this.
No, heck no. I don't think anybody did. He was a 44th round pick.
I think the only people who would have thought it were biased Denver Nuggets fans.
Yeah, diehard.
Karnisovas said he had the potential to do it because he did work with him in Serbia for 3 years. So he saw what he was doing in Serbia for those 3 years and kind of giving the Serbian league similar numbers to what he was doing now. But I don't think even he thought that he could do this like on a consistent basis the way he's doing it.
Right. You know what I mean? But like, I'll be honest, if you like, because I said this last year, I said this in the before the season started. I was like, I love, with all the injuries and whatnot, I was like, and then the news came out that Michael Porter Jr. was gonna be out, and then I was like, nope. I was like, I love him. I was like, I think they're gonna end up being. Oh, you know what? I forgot this one. Healthy Caruso. That's it. Game time. They go 82-0. Damian got it. A healthy Caruso puts this team as the number 1 seed. They sweep in the regular season and the postseason. Easy. They'll be the first team in NBA history to make people literally quit before 4 games. 110%. 110%. But yeah, like I said, man, outside of them, I don't know. I think everybody else has question marks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I've seen LeBron carry. You know what I mean? I've seen LeBron make it work. I've seen it. So I think he'll make it work. Kevin Durant, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this dude, he's a specimen.
He almost beat the Milwaukee Bucks by himself last year.
Right. He is a specimen. I mean, Kevin Durant, that's a unit right there. So, that's something right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I really don't know. You can make an argument for some guys. You really can. There's some of the borderline guys like the Lukas of the world, Devin Bookers of the world, like some of those, Zion
at Duke, maybe.
Nah. And I love Zion, but no.
Zion at Duke, yes, but not the Zion now.
I think you give Morant a couple more seasons, he might be a guy that would be able to.
All he needs to do, he needs to develop a more reliable jump shot.
How fun would it be to see Morant and Zion?
You said play together?
Yeah.
That would be extremely exciting.
The alley-oops that those two would do together, because
both ways.
Zion can pass.
Both ways. This is the part that nobody even talks about. Both ways, bro. Like, imagine that would tickle me in a very good way. 110%.
They'd be playing horse in the middle of the game. I just did this one job. What are you gonna do?
Right. But yeah, nah. And like I said, to me, and again, you guys picking KD, I'm not mad at that. I'm really not, because again, like I said, he's a unit. That dude is a specimen. Let's not get it twisted. You know what I mean? Like this dude was, he was hurt and came back like nothing.
Mhm.
Dude came back like he never missed
He
time.
came back better than he was before he got hurt.
Like-
In certain aspects, his
Yeah,
three-point
like-
shot got better.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. 100. Like, come on now. Come on now. Before we wrap up, there's a quarterfinals of the Big Ten tourney. Michigan State at 6 p.m. Mind you, the time I'm gonna give you guys are all Eastern time because I'm an Eastern boy, still trying to make. Number 7 Michigan State will play number 2 Wisconsin, and number 11 Penn State will play number 3 Purdue. Michigan State at Wisconsin kicks off at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, and Penn State at Purdue kicks off at approximately 9 p.m. Basically, it's on the Big Ten Network and Fox Sports, so they're basically coming right back behind each other. So if Michigan goes to the overtime, then I guess the Penn State game still plays, but you don't see the beginning of it. So, Michigan State, Wisconsin. Chris, who you got?
I got Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin go win that game. I'm actually getting ready to watch Indiana and Illinois. Hopefully the Hoosiers can pull a big upset. But Illinois is number 1 seed. But no,
Yeah.
man, in the Big Ten, you never know, man. 'Cause these teams beat up on each other all season long, and Iowa plays Rutgers today. Rutgers beat Iowa in the regular season 48-46, held Iowa under 50 points, and Iowa just scored 112 points on Northwestern yesterday. So I mean, you just never know what's going to happen in the Big Ten game. They're physical games, and most of the time the referees let them play.
Yep, like the Big Ten is weird. It's so weird.
I'm going to the championship game on Sunday.
Ooh, let us know how that goes, bro. Take some pictures.
Oh, well.
Michigan at Wisconsin, or Michigan State at Wisconsin. I apologize because Michigan, someone else. Michigan State at Wisconsin. Who you got? Are you going Wisconsin because you're a Wisconsin boy?
Normally, I would go with Michigan State because of Tom Izzo, but I am going with Wisconsin in this one just because they've been a more consistent team throughout the season in the Big Ten. And they have Johnny Davis.
I'm going Michigan State. I think this is the game where, for some unknown reason, things are gonna get a little physical, and there's gonna be a stretch, I believe, where Wisconsin can't buy a bucket for some unknown reason. It's gonna be the weirdest thing. They're gonna have wide open looks, and they're just gonna be missing it for some unknown reason, and Michigan State is gonna beat the bricks off them I think it's gonna be a close game, except for a 3-minute stretch where Michigan State just beating the bricks out of them for no reason whatsoever. Because honestly, I think that's how this game is gonna go. I think it's gonna be tightly contested, except for a couple minutes where, for some reason, one team just cannot score. For some unknown, unfathomable reason, someone's not going to be able to score. I guess I'm just being a contrarian, so I'm going to go Michigan State.
I mean, you got a good point there because that's how IU beat Michigan yesterday morning. Was Michigan went cold over a 2 or 3 minute stretch, and IU went on like a 24-4 run.
Yep, and it basically, and it was real close. It was close throughout. It's just those that 2.5 minutes that really kind of put the nail in the coffin for them.
The storyline that I'm really going to watch, though, is because the Big Ten tournament is being played in Indianapolis. How sweet would it be for Indiana to play Purdue in the Big Ten championship?
That's what I'm hoping for.
Indiana in Indianapolis doing it.
That's exactly what I'm hoping for.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if y'all heard about this. Buddy got in trouble.
Yeah, he got suspended.
Yep.
Syracuse played a hell of a game yesterday without him.
Yeah.
The other Boheim boy went off.
Yep. But yeah, no, he got suspended, which I saw coming.
But they gave
Yeah,
Duke all. They
they
gave
won
Duke
the
all they wanted yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's only one game,
So he'll be back for the
and if I'm not mistaken, they already played that game, right?
Yeah, they played
They
yesterday
played
without
yesterday
him.
and they lost.
He'll be
Right?
back.
Yeah. So he's good.
And their season's over anyway. So Syracuse is 17-17. They're not going to get into the tournament with that record.
Yeah.
I mean, let's maybe we can make something happen for them. Let's go take care of some other teams. You know what I mean?
Or get put in the NIT.
That's what I said. Top of eating in IT.
Penn State at Purdue. Chris, who you got?
I'm going with Purdue.
Yeah, both going Purdue. I'll be a contrarian. I'm gonna go Penn State.
I still think Purdue is the best team in the Big Ten.
Okay.
They were number 2 in the country for a while. They got injured kind of mid-season, and they went on that little mid-season slump. And then towards the end of the year, they started playing like they were at the beginning of the year again.
Okay. I'm gonna go Penn State. Why not? Who cares? I'm gonna go Penn State. This one though, I think is gonna be different than Michigan, Wisconsin. I think it's gonna be close. I think Penn State's gonna go on a run, and then Purdue's gonna go on a run. I think they'll be close, and I think it's gonna be a 5-point game. I think it's gonna be a 5-point game. I think Penn State, I think they edge it out, and honestly, it's not even, and maybe it's let me just make sure I say this, because it's not really that with what it's not really what Purdue's missing. I don't think it has really anything to do with with Purdue. For me, what it really comes down to is just the fact that what I've been seeing from Purdue lately, the last 3 games, I've been worried about them. Michigan State, that's a loss by 3 points. Wisconsin, a loss by 3 points. They beat Indiana by, 2 points?
Yeah.
So it's like, now to me, I don't know. I'm not liking that. Especially when you consider that this team, like, let's be honest, prior to this team has been great defensively. Like, Purdue has been a pretty solid defensive team. And all of a sudden, it's almost as if your offense is like starting to crash, because defensively solid, you know what I mean? You're not letting them blow the doors off you. But your offense is now starting to drop to a very, very dangerous position where we all know this. If you're a great team playing against a bad team, the worst thing you want to do is a low-scoring game. That's the worst thing you want to do. Because if you're doing a low-scoring game, you're playing in favor of the inferior team, because guess what? They're not going to score a lot, so they're going to be low-scoring. But if you're low-scoring too, that means you're still giving them a chance. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. I really do. I think that's what happens. So I like I said, I think it's going to be a close one. But and again, I think Penn State ends up edging out. But again, I mean, don't get twisted. I'm not saying Purdue's trash. I want no one. Oh my God, you said Purdue's trash. I'm not saying they're trash. All I'm saying is, lately they've been letting inferior teams have a chance, and Penn State isn't trash. So if you give them that opportunity, they will with pleasure take that opportunity. Mm-hmm. This has been ASAP in the morning. Dustin, appreciate you being here. Chris, always, it is a pleasure. I'll be back here Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Dustin, real quick, do you have a stat of the day?
Not today. I've been working too much.
Boo! Boo! Gentlemen, boo! Boo! I got a stat for the day. Dustin sucks. There we go.
Come on, you want a stat of the day? I'll see if I can grab one for you. Quick, go to Chris for a second.
Oh, that I want to have a conversation with you guys on on Monday. I got a very interesting question.
And do you think, hey, Pride, do you think the UFC fight night's gonna be any good this weekend?
Oh, you want to talk about it?
He said
Whoa,
the
whoa,
UFC.
whoa, whoa, whoa! You want to talk about it? Come on, stop playing. Don't play with the boy. You want to talk about it?
Hey, we can. I don't care.
Listen, I love Magomed. I love him. I don't think he wins tonight. I think Thiago Santos wins. I think he goes on a run where, by the way, the entire card, I like the bantamweight Marlon versus Song Yadong. I like it. Doesn't make me any excited, but it's all right. Outside of that,
Yeah, it's not a real strong card.
Nah, but I will say this. I think Thiago Santos wins, and I think he goes on a little streak to, I think he goes on a little streak to try to get one more title shot, because I think he understands this is it for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think one of them's getting knocked out.
so you want me to pick him? So I'm changing my mind. Magomed, who am I picking? It's right there. Okay, I'm picking Magomed.
I think this fight's going to end by finish. One of them's getting knocked out.
No way. 100%.
You don't think
Someone
so?
get knocked out.
I got your stat of the day.
What's your stat? What's the stat? Let me hear it.
This year was the first time since 2005 that there were no Power 5 conference teams in the NCAA National Top 25 that finished with less than 2 losses to end the year.
That's crazy.
The only team that has 2 losses is Murray State, but otherwise everybody else has 3 or more.
Chris, who you got? Thiago or Magomed?
Oh, I got Thiago.
You got Thiago? I'm going Magomed only because my daughter yelled at me. So,
I am interested in seeing that Motino fight, just because he looked pretty. Well, he got his ass beat against O'Malley, but he stayed in that fight. So I'm kind of interested to see how he looks against somebody besides O'Malley.
It's gonna be definitely very interesting. But on behalf of Chris and Dustin, it's your boy Pride. We're back here on Monday. Until then, y'all know what to do. Be safe.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.